ever get that feeling? Like there's just so much you want to do and learn, but time,
Mhm.
it just keeps slipping away.
Yeah, I think we all feel that sometimes, that kind of pressure to make the most of things,
Yeah.
to leave our mark, but also not get totally overwhelmed.
Absolutely. And figuring out how to handle that feeling, that's what this whole deep dive is about, time management. But we're not talking about surface level stuff here.
Right, we're going way deeper. Like, how does our mind experience time? And once we get that, what are the practical things we can actually do? Not another to-do list, but real change.
Exactly. We dug into tons of research for this one, and honestly, the big takeaway is this. Yeah, we all get 24 hours, but what we do with those hours, that's totally unique to each of us.
Yeah.
Our brains, our habits, that's where it gets personal.
It's almost like time is this shape-shifting thing, right?
Yeah.
It changes depending on what's going on inside of us. And
Yeah.
honestly, figuring that out is like step one to making time work for us, not against us.
So let's start with that inside part. Why do we waste so much time? Like, why is it easier to scroll on our phones than, I don't know, finally start that project we've been putting off?
Okay, so this is where it gets kind of cool. Our brains, they're wired for survival, first and foremost, like immediate comfort over long-term reward. That's their default setting.
So, like, scrolling on social media gives us that little dopamine hit, makes us feel good right now, even if we know it's not helping us in the grand scheme of things.
Exactly. It's instant gratification versus, putting in the effort for something bigger. And our brain's reward system, man, it loves those easy wins. Plus, there's the discomfort thing too, procrastination. A lot of times it's about avoiding anxiety or that fear of failing. Like it's a temporary escape hatch from those tough feelings.
And it's not just what we do, right? It's also the stories we tell ourselves, that inner voice. That's got to play a role in how we use time, too.
Oh, for sure. Huge role. What we believe about ourselves, that has a huge impact. Like if you're always thinking, I'm not a morning person, you might subconsciously sabotage your mornings, even if there's stuff you need to do. And calling yourself a procrastinator, that can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, reinforcing the exact behavior you're trying to change.
It's like giving ourselves permission to fall into those time traps just because we say that's who we are.
Right. But here's the shift. Recognizing those mental patterns is key. It's not just about finding a new app or some productivity trick. It's going deeper to the root of how we experience time. We got to become aware of the stories we're telling ourselves, the habits they create. That's how we start to change things.
Okay, so how do we do that? Rewire our brain sounds pretty intense. Where do we even begin?
First, realizing that time isn't just this external thing, this clock ticking away. It's something we experience, something we can influence. Pay attention to your thoughts, how you feel about different tasks, how you're habitually spending your time. It's about noticing those patterns, challenging the stories that aren't helping you anymore.
Shifting gears a bit, another idea that really stood out. Thinking of time as this super valuable currency. Like, we're always told to budget our money, but time? Not so much.
It's crazy, right? We get drilled on financial stuff, saving money. We know it's limited. You got to spend it wisely.
Yeah.
But time is even more finite, and we don't treat it that way. Every second is gone forever. You can't get it back.
It's a sobering thought, but so true. You can always work to earn more money, but time, that's a one-way street.
And yet, we let it slip away on all these things. Like, how often do we plan downtime as carefully as we plan a vacation? Or schedule time to learn something new, work on our passions? We're so meticulous with our money, but time just kind of happens to us.
Yeah, it's like we're just along for the ride instead of being in the driver's seat.
Okay, so imagine this. Every single day, 86,400 seconds get deposited into your time account. Right? That's a huge number. Now, let's say someone steals 60 seconds from you. Would you just throw the rest of the day away because of that?
Of course not. That'd be ridiculous.
But isn't that what we do sometimes? One little setback, a distraction, and suddenly the whole day feels off.
Yeah.
Like we've lost permission to use those remaining hours wisely.
Oof. Yeah, I've definitely been there.
So it's about treating time with the same care we, hopefully, treat our finances. It's being picky about how we spend it, always asking, does this actually get me closer to what I want? Is this how I want to use this hour?
So being as intentional with our time as we are with our money makes sense.
Right, and this changes how we see our calendars too. Those empty spaces, they're not nothing. They're chances to recharge, let our minds wander, just be. And we can schedule things in, not just work, but things that actually make us feel good.
Learning, connecting with people, having fun, those things need a spot on the calendar too.
Absolutely. Being busy doesn't equal success.
Yeah.
The people who are really killing it, they're the ones who own their time. They decide where it goes. When you truly get how valuable time is, you'll naturally make choices that are more fulfilling.
Okay, so we're getting a grasp on how our minds work with time and how important it is to value it. But how do we actually figure out where it's going? We talked about those sneaky time thieves.
Yeah, and what's tricky is they're sneaky. They're not these big, obvious distractions. They're the little things, the habits we don't even notice.
Like checking social media for a minute and then realizing an hour's come by.
Exactly. Or answering every email as soon as it pops up, breaking your focus on something else. It's death by a thousand cuts. Not one big thing, but tons of little things adding up.
And because they're so small, it's easy to miss how much they add up.
Right. So step one is awareness. Like you got to become a time detective, figure out where each minute is actually going.
But how do you do that? It's not like we've got a built-in time tracker.
This might sound old school, but it works. Keep a time diary for a week. Not to judge yourself, just to observe. Write down what you're doing and for how long. You might be surprised by what you find.
Like maybe I spend way too long transitioning between tasks or getting sucked into those research rabbit holes online.
Exactly. Or those meetings that always go over, those quick checks that turn into 30-minute scrolls.
Yeah.
Once you see it, then you can start plugging those leaks.
So what can we do about those leaks once we found them?
That's where systems come in. If you're getting distracted online, use website blockers. Try the Pomodoro technique for focused work sprints. For meetings, set clear agendas, keep them short, maybe even see if an email would work instead.
And just in general, set boundaries for your time, like focus hours where interruptions are off limits unless it's a real emergency.
You got it. It's about being proactive, protecting your time instead of just reacting to whatever comes at you. When you start reclaiming those little bits of time, it adds up. You'll actually feel like you have more time, not because the day's longer, but because you're not letting it slip away.
Okay, so we're being more mindful, guarding against the time thieves, but there's got to be more to it, right? Like, what are we doing with all this time we're saving? That's where goals come in, right?
You got it. Goals are like your roadmap. If time is the car, goals tell you where to go. Without them, you might be efficient, but you might end up somewhere you didn't want to be.
So how do we make goals that actually work? Not just those vague ideas, but ones that help us manage our time.
They got to be clear and specific. Like, instead of get in shape, it's lose 5 pounds in the next 6 weeks by exercising 3 times a week and tracking my calories.
Oh, yeah.
Specific, measurable with a deadline, and most importantly, tied to your why.
So that why is the fuel that keeps us going. It's not just about checking off a box. It's about connecting to a deeper reason.
Exactly. And you got to break those goals down too. Macro goals, those are the big picture, long-term stuff. Micro goals, the smaller steps you take every day or week to get there. It's like having a roadmap and a daily itinerary so you know what to do at each level.
And suddenly, those little daily tasks feel way more meaningful because you see how they fit into the bigger picture.
Right. But don't just set them and forget them. Do a weekly review. See what's working, what's not. Make adjustments. Keep your time aligned with what you really want. When you're clear on your purpose, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve.
Okay, so we're avoiding the traps. We've got our goals. Now, how do we actually structure our days and weeks in a way that works? We've all heard about those perfect productivity systems.
Yeah, and here's the thing. There's no one-size-fits-all. What works for one person might be a disaster for someone else. The best system is when you build for yourself.
So no more trying to copy what works for some productivity guru.
Exactly. It starts with knowing yourself. Are you a morning person or a night owl? When do you have the most energy? Schedule your toughest tasks for those times. Figure out if you like detailed weekly plans or a more flexible daily approach.
So if I'm useless before 10 a.m., no point in forcing myself to do deep work then. Better save it for when my brain's actually awake.
Right. And it's the same with tools. Digital calendar, physical planner, whatever clicks for you. What matters is finding what helps you stay consistent.
And remembering those top 3 tasks for each day, tackle those first before getting lost in the less important stuff.
You got it. And we talked about time blocking. That's huge. It's like turning your calendar into a blueprint for action. Schedule everything in. Work, breaks, even relaxation time.
But you gotta be realistic, right? No point in overscheduling and then getting frustrated when things go off track.
Totally. Build in some wiggle room, some buffer time. Life happens. Be prepared for it. And don't forget that inbox system. Whether it's a notebook or an app, jot down ideas and tasks as they pop up. Then you can deal with them later during your planning time. Clears your head. It keeps everything organized.
So personalized systems, flexibility, being realistic. Got it. Now, there's one idea that almost feels wrong to say out loud in our always-on world. Monotasking. like focusing on just one thing at a time. That's radical.
It kind of is, right?
Hmm.
We're told multitasking is this superpower, but honestly, it's not. Our brains aren't built for it. What we call multitasking is actually task switching, and it comes with a cost.
Like, we're not actually doing two things at once, we're just rapidly flipping between them. And that can't be good for our brains, right?
Definitely not. Every time you switch, you lose focus, waste mental energy, and become less efficient. Studies show it can tank your productivity by up to 40% and increase mistakes.
So all that busyness might feel productive, but we're actually getting less done and probably doing it worse.
Exactly. The alternative is monotasking, giving one task your full attention. That's how you get to deep work, that state where you're totally focused, distractions are gone, and your brain is firing on all cylinders.
Deep work sounds amazing, but how do you actually do it? It's not like distractions just disappear.
You got to be intentional about it. Turn off those notifications, put your phone on airplane mode, close those tempting browser tabs. Noise-canceling headphones can be a lifesaver too. And set clear boundaries with the people around you.
Like, unless the building's on fire, do not interrupt me for the next hour.
Right. Try the Pomodoro technique. Focused work sprints, followed by short breaks. That helps you build that focus muscle. It might feel weird at first, going against that always-on mentality.
But ultimately, you're trading busy work for actual productivity.
Exactly. You'll produce more, stress less, and feel way better about what you're doing.
Okay, so we've covered time, focus, systems. But there's one more piece of the puzzle that's often overlooked: energy management. Even with the best intentions and a clear schedule, if we're running on empty, it's not going to work.
That's so true. It's like the other half of the productivity equation. You can have all the time in the world, but if you're exhausted, it's almost useless. High achievers get this. They know that managing their energy is essential.
It's like trying to drive across the country with an empty gas tank, right? No matter how good your map is, you're not getting very far.
Perfect analogy. Think of your energy like your phone battery. Every task, every decision, every interaction drains it a little. If you don't recharge, you'll hit zero, no matter how well you've managed your time. So you got to be smart about managing our physical, mental, and emotional energy.
Okay, so how do we do that? Where do we start?
The basics are huge. Sleep, hydration, and nutrition. You need 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, no excuses. Dehydration makes you sluggish, so drink plenty of water. Food is fuel. What you eat directly impacts your focus and mood. Even short bursts of exercise throughout the day can make a huge difference.
So move your body, fuel it properly, give it rest.
Got it. What about mental and emotional energy?
For mental energy, routines help a ton. Minimize decision fatigue by having set ways to handle recurring tasks. Batch similar activities together to reduce those mental gear shifts. Emotionally, boundaries are key. Learn to say no to things that drain you. Make time for activities you genuinely enjoy.
So it's all connected. Taking care of ourselves is part of taking care of our time. Absolutely. The goal is to sync up your most important tasks with your peak energy times. If you're a morning person, tackle your big projects then. Save the easier stuff for when you have less energy.
Now, speaking of starting the day right, morning routines seem to be a big deal in the productivity world. What's so special about those first few hours?
It's like setting the tone for everything that follows. A good morning routine is a launch pad. It sets you up to feel in control instead of constantly reacting to the day's demands.
So it's about intentionally creating that calm, focused state before the chaos hits?
Exactly. Highly successful people are very protective of their mornings. They don't check their phones right away. They don't jump straight into the digital whirlwind. They use that time to prep their minds and bodies for the day.
So what does a good morning routine look like? What kind of things are we talking about?
The specifics vary, but there are some common elements. A consistent wake-up time, even on weekends, helps regulate your body clock. Get moving. Even a little stretching or a short walk wakes you up.
Get that blood flowing.
Right. And then do something to cultivate stillness. Mindfulness meditation, breathing exercises, quiet reflection. Those all help reduce stress and improve focus. Then look at your goals and to-do lists for the day. What are your top priorities?
Get a clear picture of what needs to happen.
Exactly. And finally, feed your mind, read something inspiring, listen to a podcast, journal, anything that gets you motivated and ready to go.
It's about being proactive, setting yourself up for success instead of letting the day just happen to you.
Exactly. Consistency is key here. A short, focused routine done every day is way better than a long, elaborate one you only do once in a while. And remember, a good morning starts the night before. Prep things in the evening to minimize decisions in the morning.
Streamline that process. Love it. Now, one skill that I think a lot of us struggle with, but is so important for managing our time, saying no. It's tough to do, but essential.
It is tough, but it's all about boundaries. We're often conditioned to say yes, to be helpful, to please people, but that can backfire big time. If you're always saying yes to stuff that doesn't align with your priorities, you're saying no to the things that do matter.
Wow, that's a powerful way to look at it.
Your time is finite. Once it's gone, it's gone. Saying no to things that drain you isn't selfish. It's protecting your most valuable resource. Successful people get this. They're not afraid to say no. They know their time is precious.
But how do you actually say no without feeling like a jerk?
Be clear and direct, but kind. Thanks so much for thinking of me, but I can't take that on right now. Or, that sounds interesting, but my schedule's full. You don't need to give a big explanation.
Short, sweet, and to the point.
Exactly. And if you feel pressured, buy yourself some time. Let me check my schedule and get back to you. That gives you space to think it over, see if it really fits with your goals. If you can't do something, maybe suggest an alternative.
So it's not always a flat-out no. Sometimes it's redirecting or offering a different solution.
Exactly. And remember, saying no also applies to yourself. Procrastination, distractions that need to be perfect, those are all things we need to say no to as well.
So it's like an internal filter. Before you commit to anything, ask yourself, does this help me reach my goals? Is this how I want to spend my time?
You got it. If the answer's no, then don't be afraid to say it, to yourself or to others. Learning to say no frees you up to say a big, enthusiastic yes to the things that truly light you up.
Now, we got to talk about technology. It's this double-edged sword, right? Amazing tools for productivity, but also a constant source of distraction. How do we make tech work for us, not against us?
It's all about being intentional. Tech has incredible potential. It can automate tasks, organize info, streamline communication. It's awesome for freeing up time and mental space.
But it's also designed to keep us hooked, right?
Mm.
Those notifications, social media feeds, it's hard to resist.
Totally. So you got to be in control. Start with a tech audit. Look at all the apps and platforms you use daily. Which ones are truly helpful and which ones are just time sucks. Be ruthless. Delete apps, turn off notifications, set time limit to whatever you need to do.
So it's like decluttering our digital space the same way we declutter our homes or workspaces.
Exactly. Then find tools that support your time management goals and workflow. There are amazing task management apps, calendar tools, time trackers. They can be super helpful. Learn to use them well and resist the urge to constantly chase the perfect app or tweak your setup endlessly.
Pick the tools that work for you, learn them well, and stick with them.
Right. Remember, tech should help you focus, not break it. If a tool is more distracting than helpful, ditch it, even if it's super popular. You want your digital environment to be just as intentional and focused as your physical workspace.
Okay, so we've covered a lot here. We've talked about the psychology of time, those sneaky time thieves, the importance of goals and systems, and the power of focus and energy management. It's a lot to take in, but even just starting with one small change, one new habit, can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. It's not about being perfect. It's about progress. Start with one thing that resonates with you and build from there.
And as you're going about your day, your week, ask yourself this. What's one shift in how you view time, or one tiny habit change that could have the biggest impact on how you experience and use it? Time, after all, is our most precious resource, and it's up to us to make the most of it.
Beautifully said. Every moment is a chance to create the life we want. It's in our hands.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support the show.